Hello, it's Oren Prunken, and today I want to talk to you about the topic of how you get attention that causes people to care about what you're doing. Now, I'm going to address this in probably a roundabout way that may not make sense at first, but I got this question and I really want to address it because there's really two things that pop up here. So the first thing that I want to talk about is people don't actually care about you or what you're doing. That's like the premise of where of what I want to talk about. So they don't care about who you are and what you're doing. They only care about themselves. And they care about themselves when they have something that they want to go out and solve. And that's when it becomes, really apparent for them. And what happens is something happens in their life and they want to get it solved or fixed or whatever that looks like. And I'm just using that as a catch-all term for people wanting to get something out of what you are currently doing. So this may sound a bit cryptic, but I will try to explain what I'm talking about. So they're going through life, something happens, and then they want to go out and try and solve it. And this is one of the reasons why consistent advertising and being at top of mind always works, is because you never know when someone in their life is going to come to being at a point where they need help and they want something solved. So consistent and constant advertising, always being top of mind, is one of the reasons why we always put out things to the world to see who we can catch and capture at that point in time when they want to we want to get their attention for what we're doing and get them to care about it. So the way we go about doing that is really just through targeting. We can target through various different criteria such as geographics, demographics, psychographics, and behaviors. And I've talked about this numerous times before, and you can really target down people based on those 4 attributes. And once you've targeted people, it's really about going out and getting their attention, putting out some sort of bait to the world that interests them enough to address the problem that they have and convince them that there might be something in what you're doing that they should care about. And that really leads on to the next thing of, how do you get attention? And that's really kind of a basic thing. But once you've got attention, how do you get them to care about what you're doing? So I said before, people don't care about about you or what you're doing. They care about themselves. So how that relates to getting people to care about what you're doing is you need to do things that they care about. And only then are they going to care about what you're doing. So doing things that they care about therefore means they're going to care about what you are doing. And it's like Cinderella's glass slipper, or the hand that fits the glove. It needs to be an exact match. Now, the original question came through the context of Instagram. So how do you get people on Instagram to care about what you're doing and get their attention enough for that to happen? And really it comes down to putting out content both on the feed, so on your account page, but also through stories. That is the content, the glove that fits their hand, and their hand being the analogy of what they need. And then and only then can you put out content that allows them to then become interested enough, because it addresses what they want, that they actually care about what you're doing. It always starts with them, and if you can match that need with the content that you're pushing out, you've got the attention, and therefore they become they care about what you're doing. So again, this is sounding very cryptic. So what's a practical example of this? So when you put out content by stories or through the feed, it really needs to go and address what they want. And one of the easiest ways that you can do this is think about, I talked about those targeting criteria around geographics and demographics and psychographics and behaviors. What types of people have that criteria that are already addressing and finding your target customer, your ideal prospect? So who's already doing that? Who's already found people in the same geographics or demographics or psychographics or behaviors? And who's already found them and is addressing those people? In other words, who are following those accounts? So go out and find your competitors, those upstream, downstream, indirect, even direct competitors, and look at those accounts on Instagram and what type of content are they putting out. The type of content they're putting out, don't copy it, but model it. Go out and model similar sorts of content, and that could be layout on the feed. It could be the subject matter of the feed content. It could be the subject matter of what they are putting in stories. So model what your competitors are doing because they've already found your ideal customers. And that, in doing so, giving that content that appeals to that person, gets them interested in what you're doing, and it gets their attention. But the only way you're going to get their attention is by putting out some sort of bait, which is the content. So hopefully that gives you a bit of insight of how you can go around getting attention that causes people to actually care about what you're doing. Care about them first, put out content that relates to that, work out who those people are and who's got those people, and then put out bait that creates the attention. Do it in that order, but the way it is perceived for people is they find the bait, they then consume it, it interests them, and then they become interested in what you're doing, and they care about what you're doing because it helps them. But the way you create it is in the opposite order. Hope that helps. I'd love people to go try this out and see how it helps them, and then let me know how you go, because I'd love to hear from you. And like always, until we talk next time, I hope you have a fantastic day, and until we talk then, goodbye. Thanks for listening, and if you like what was on here and want more, please go to orenprunken.com.